Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, we're here today to talk about Married to Medicine. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you as part of the beautiful people family. And if you are one of my regulars, hey, you guys, let's talk about it. I can honestly say that I was very entertained. When this episode went off, I wasn't ready for it to go off, and that doesn't happen very often. And so far this season, it hasn't happened at all on any show really. So, yeah, it was pretty good. Oh, it happened on no, I was really ready for Real Housewives of Atlanta to go off because I just couldn't take no more of Marlo. But anyway, that is besides the point. Let's go ahead and talk about Married to Medicine. You guys, they did something that I don't think I've ever seen before. So I won't say they never did it before, but if they have, I haven't really noticed it. Where we went into seeing what happened last week straight into the episode. And we are with the guys where they're at an axe throwing place. And Dr. Eugene is bitching some more, bitching and moaning. Dr. Eugene is bitching and moaning. That's what he is good at doing. And he's bitching and moaning about this thing with Dr. Karen again. And in walks Dr. Karen. They say your ears must be ringing or itching or something like that because we were just talking about you. And Dr. Karen gives the worst apology known to man. He says, "Listen, if you are offended, Toya was upset about it and everything. I'm sorry. I still think it was fucking funny though." And I'm like, "What? What?" And Dr. Eugene was just like, "Ugh." And yeah, everybody was just looking because Karen, come on. And I don't even think I spoke about it a lot last time, you guys. It just, on top of it wasn't funny. Excuse me. I just think that it was in bad taste. It really was. Like you're honking the horn to get everybody out there. It was just in very, very bad taste. And you know that that's something that like it hits a trigger with them. Like you can see Dr. Eugene is super stressed out. They've been literally moving every year since the show started. And it's been all on his back. So yeah, I can understand where Dr. Eugene is like, listen, I've never said anything bad to you. Like we've never had it out. So why are you in it? Like the women do this shit and they are very, catty and all that, but the men usually don't get involved. I see exactly what he's saying. Although I still think he's doing too much and he's putting 20 on 10. Shout out to Rocks. But that is what he does. He bitches and he moans just like his wife. So, it's fine. He's super upset that he's not getting a sincere apology. And, the guys are just like, listen, it is what it is. Just stay out of it, next time or whatever. Dr. Kieran with his eyes, his bulging eyes is so funny to me. But he doesn't he doesn't feel like he did anything wrong. He's like, listen, I won't tell any jokes then. I'll just be the driest motherfucker around. Dr. Eugene called me a motherfucker again. When did he call you a motherfucker? Motherfucker, when did he call you a motherfucker? I missed it. But y'all, did I ever say Dr. Karen was my favorite? Because Dr. Karen is my favorite. I'm gonna double down on it. So they're basically talking. Everybody's jumping in trying to make the situation better. And Dr. Karen's like, everybody at this table laughed. And Dr. Eugene is like, so basically you're doubling down on what you did. And he's like, I ain't doubling down on shit. And I was like, Karen is about that life. Like he's playing zero games with Dr. Eugene. So in the confessional, we have Dr. Scott saying how, he would have sworn it was the ladies if their voices were higher. And then he said, well, and they showed it. Dr. Eugene's voice did go up a few octaves. And Dr. Contessa started laughing and she's like, ooh, y'all needed some bibs. Messy, messy. And I'm like, yes, the men are always going to be messy if Dr. Eugene is there. Catch. And while you're catching, Dr. Karen said, I misjudged how sensitive you would be. And I'm just like, damn, he's not letting up. He's not letting up. Dr. Karen is dead ass wrong. Don't get me wrong. He is wrong to me because I do understand what Dr. Eugene is saying. Like I said, the men don't get involved. I understand maybe you just doing this because your wife said, babe, we should do this. Then just say that. But he's wrong, but he ain't playing no games with Dr. Eugene. So then we have Dr. Daddy. Dr. Damon Daddy starts talking about the plank in the eye. Who here doesn't have a plank in the eye? Y'all, his voice is just so soothing. I don't care what he say. Like, he could just be cursing you out. You know what? You can get the fuck out of here because like, he could just really be going in, and I don't care because his voice is just so soothing. So he tells them that, yeah, everybody here, their wife has said something that's hurt my feelings, but I don't care about what the wives say. I care about what you do, which is what you're saying. And they all just kind of look real confused, and they agree to just kind of let it go. Dr. Eugene is like, listen, I'll just take the apology you gave, but I know that I just can't trust you, basically. And Dr. Kieran doesn't care. He's just like, all right, cool beans. So they go to throw axes. Dr. Kieran is a beast. And of course, Dr. Curtis. Ooh, Curtis not a doctor. No, no, no. Curtis is a beast as well. He did well. Dr. Eugene, just a bit outside. Like, he was totally short on everything. Everything was terrible. He just did a terrible job. So yeah, we're done with the men. Thankfully, because all that going back and forth, Eugene, shut up. No, he was right though, y'all. I can't be all on Eugene's tip this time. He was right. Oh, before we leave the men, I forgot to point out that Dr. Damon was pretty good too. And so in the confessional, Heavenly is like, yeah, he's good at hitting that target and finding exactly where he should put it and putting it right there. And he just smiles and shakes his head like, oh my gosh, she is ridiculous. I swear to God, they are yin and yang. They really are. I just cannot imagine her life without him, actually, because yeah, he definitely has to reel her back in. She is a lot. Where we see everybody and what they're doing in their lives, and I don't care about Toya. I don't care about Contessa and Scott and all that. But I will say this: Dr. Contessa's daughter, little girl. But so Anila is bringing Dr. Kieran some food, dinner at Daddy's, and she brings him a big old bottle of alcohol, and he's like, you do know this is the office where I work, right? And I'm like, she is dumb as hell. She is just dumb as hell. She should be a blonde, honestly. Anila is dumber than a box of rocks. She is a space cadet of all space cadets. But anyway, they end up talking. It was very boring. She is just like, man, I am with these kids all the time. And he's like, those are our kids. Those are your kids, ma'am. And you guys, I watch Ashley, and I try so hard not to really watch people's reviews before I do mine. But if I do and they say something I agree with, I will cite my source and say where I got it from, because I am in full agreement with her that I have an issue with the fact that Anila is acting like she can't do anything for her kids. She's acting like she doesn't know how to rear her own kids, basically. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a storyline and funny and all that, but shit's not funny. Like, you acting like you're very irritated because you have to watch your kids. You don't even leave the house for work. They go to school and everything. So what are you doing? Like, it's just too much. I feel like, and like Ashley's point was, there are women who are single parents who do it every day, and they do it without the same resources that Anila has. And for her to sit up and do nothing but complain, she's looking real ridiculous. I don't think she thinks so, but she really is looking real ridiculous. Very sorry. Like a sorry ass, for real. Um, but yeah, she ends up asking about her mom coming, and he's like, oh, to help us find nannies. And I'm like, Karen is really funny. He really is. And she's like, no, to live with us. And then we do a flashback of how the mom acts. And y'all know I said even last season, I'm not a fan of her mom. I just think it's too pushy. I don't like that pushy stuff. I don't think it's funny in somebody else's house or whatever. It's not cool. But Kieran is just like, if you talking about her living with us, you should have just brought me a straw for this. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a mess. And I don't want to see it. I don't have any interest in seeing Anila's household with her mom in it. And I don't care. But anyway, we also have Dr. Jackie. She invited Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone for lunch in her office. And of course, it's an ambush. And she's like, this is how you do it. And Dr. Simone walks in and she's like, what? what is going on here? And she's like, listen, Dr. Jackie is already trying to do the whole threesome thing again. And I'm just trying to get used to the twosome being back together. And you guys, I love them three together. I'm not going to lie. I love seeing them together. Excuse me. I just think they're so funny together. And to me, they have so much fun. We'll talk about it later because when they get out of town or whatever, we'll talk about it later. But I just think they have fun together and I love them together. If they could just throw Quad in there, it would be great. Listen, fun times for all. So they're putting the Golden Girls back together, putting the band back together, and Dr. Jackie's talking about they need to go ahead and go out of town. I honestly think Dr. Simone was very gracious. You know, she gave Dr. Heavenly a hug and everything, even though last we saw Dr. Heavenly was like, get out my way, flip flopping bitch. And she, you know, she gave her a hug. And she's like, well, how are we supposed to go out of town when Dr. Heavenly ain't getting along with nobody? Like, nobody. And Dr. Heavenly's like, what do you mean? I done told to everybody. I have called everybody. She went basically on an apology tour. And she's texting everybody. She said she talked to Toya, and we actually get a flashback of her talking to Toya and apologizing. And Toya is just sitting there with that smile on her face, that phony smile she got, because Toya knows Dr. Heavenly's gonna do it again and again and again, and she already has this season. Like this was already taped, and so far when she's done her after show, she has already shitted on Toya already. So you know that Dr. Heavenly is great for shitting on you, apologizing, but shitting on you again. Like it's gonna happen. Her apologies mean absolutely nothing. And that is pretty much what Dr. Contessa said. Yeah, she texted me and said, listen, I'm sorry. And I think the text that she gave her was pretty straightforward, and maybe it was oh, excuse me, maybe it was sincere. It wasn't like sorry if you felt this way, and like it wasn't doing a whole lot of explaining. It was just an apology. And Dr. Contessa's just like, yeah, that's what she does. Like, I don't really believe it. And as much as I can't stand Dr. Contessa right now, she's right about that. Like, y'all know, Dr. Heavenly's my girl, but she's full of shit. All right, y'all, we have a scene with Dr. Contessa and her big ass muscle man trainer. I don't care. I fast forwarded. But before I fast forwarded, I saw the fact that her daughter needs a whooping. Like she just does. Acting like she's about to bite this man's hand and just being too grown and too forward and too in grown folks' business. Girl, go upstairs, little girl. Um, so yeah, sorry, but she's a badass kid at this point. And I know Dr. Contessa tried to, you know, dress it up last time, talking about, oh, she is something else and she speaks her mind. And listen, I ain't got no problem with that. But when you young like that, keep it in your mind a little bit. Like, speak it later when you grow up. But anyway, I fast forwarded. So, I don't know. I think he was telling her what she could and could not eat when they go to Vegas. I don't care. All right, so Dr. Heavenly is packing and Audra comes over. Audra, we met her already, but she is a real estate attorney and she's going to Vegas with them. So she goes upstairs into the bedroom where Dr. Heavenly is packing, and there's like this white fringy number in her suitcase. Remember, I said in her suitcase already. And Audra's like, oh, that's kind of cute. So she pulls it out and she's like, yeah, you can get this from Heavenly Beauty. And I was just like, cheap. Yeah, you probably don't want that. Beauty store clothes. I'm sorry, nothing against Heavenly. I know that's my girl. But she tells Audrey, yeah, it's cute. I might bring it, and then puts it back in her suitcase. I'm like, girl, you're bringing it. What do you mean? So they end up talking about, and Audra seems like a good time, you guys. She seems like a lot of fun. She came in dropping it like it's hot. She stayed down there for a minute, and I was like, girl, I understand. You got to talk to your niece for a minute. Like, come on, niece. We got to make this happen. We on camera. So she made it back up, but she seems like a lot of fun. And she's talking about, listen, I heard you be talking about marriages and everything. What's happening? So Dr. Heavenly fills her in on what happened, and the biggest thing that really bothered Dr. Heavenly about the intervention was the fact that Dr. Contessa went and got with two people that she don't like. You know, like they don't really get along, and that is pretty shitty if you think about it. Like that would probably eat me up too. Like the excuse me, the fact that you and I have talked shit about these people. Like, I don't like these people. They don't like me. And really, you don't like these people. But now you want to team up with these people just because they don't like, is it really that serious? So you for real, for real. So I understand what Dr. Heavenly is saying. But Audra is just like, listen, she might want to fight you. And Dr. Heavenly's like, well, I ain't had my ass kicked in a while. Audra's like, I ain't had it kicked ever, but I understand what you're saying. And we all know that Dr. Heavenly has said a billion times on her YouTube channel that Dr. Contessa will beat her up. Like, she will lay her out. And it's so funny because y'all know whenever she would get into it talking about people or whatever, she'd be like, so what? Dr. Contessa beat them up for me. Dr. Contessa will beat them up. I'm just like, she really think Dr. Contessa can fight. And she probably is a little, she a little manly. We gonna give Dr. Contessa that. All right, it's party time. So they're all showing up at the airport. And when Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone gets there, Dr. Jackie is telling them, listen, here's the thing. They only had 7 rooms, so you can room with her, or she can room with me, or you can room with her. She was going through all this whole thing. And she said, but, Dr. Heavenly, I remember you said you are going through menopause and you like the room really cold. And Dr. Heavenly's like, so basically you already made the choice that you're rooming, you broads are rooming together. And so basically, yeah, she already made that choice. And I was like, score, Dr. Heavenly, you ain't got a freaking room with nobody. That's great. But is it great? We'll talk about it later. Y'all, the rest of the ladies show up and listen, they, doing all this hollering for Toya. She look cute. She got on these yellow, well, I'm not saying she look cute. They said she look cute. I can't give it up. I'm sorry. I know I can't. I'm not here for Toya. I don't see it for her, so I can't give it up. Even though she has been much cooler this season so far. But she has on these tall yellow boots or whatever. They're like, yeah, she looks cute. Quad comes, and Quad is always a good time. Quad, Miss Quad. So she's dancing. She's high energy. I love Quad. I do. Then Audra, we see Audra is like twerking and everything and hitting her booty, and Quad is loving it. Like, she's just like, yes, ma'am. And they seem like they're going to have a good time together. And then we see, who do we see, y'all? Crypt Keeper Carrie. Why is she here, Ike? Why is she here? Like, I don't understand. And then later on in the episode, we see her just sitting at the table and sitting around the girls, and she has nothing to say. And it's like one of these kids is doing her own thing. Because really, why is she here? I'm not even trying to be funny. Why is she here? I don't understand. She has 0 lines. She's talking about nothing. She serves no purpose whatsoever. Who is she a friend of? Like, honestly, who is she a friend of? Because nobody's even really talking to her. It's just a mess. Anyway, Dr. Contessa is running late because that's what she does. But she ends up making it on time. Great. Y'all know she not missing her check. Y'all, they on the plane, and Dr. Simone is sitting behind Dr. Jackie, and I guess she's live or either doing a video, and she's talking to Simone, and then she's like, girl, sit down. Why are you standing? And I was just like, why is Dr. Jackie always trying to mother people? Oh God, she honestly would have been a great mom. It's very unfortunate that she could not have kids. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I was about to tell a joke about how she said that about that lady, but I'm not. But it is very unfortunate. But she would probably get on her kids' nerves about the same amount that I get on my daughter's nerve, because I mean, just micromanaging with everything. Because what did she tell? She told Carrie, Crypt Keeper, about her hands on was it Dr. Contessa's walls or whatever. Get your hands off the wall. Like, listen, she be right. But she is just a micromanaging parent. So I love Dr. Jackie too. That's why I like this show, you guys, because most of the shows that I review, I don't like a whole lot of the people. So it's always negative. And y'all probably noticed it. I noticed it too. I'm just like, it's always negative. But Married to Medicine has quite a few people, well, probably 3 that I like. So it's all good. All right, so they're on the bus, and they're in Vegas. They're on the bus, and they're looking at Dr. Jackie like, where's the alcohol? Where is the alcohol? And I'm like, y'all know good and well Dr. Jackie ain't got no alcohol for y'all. It's a dry bus ride. Suck it up. And then we have Audra twerking again. This girl loves to twerk. Okay. And you have the Crypt Keeper like hitting her booty. And I'm just like, Crypt Keeper, you are so uncomfortable. Honestly, why are you here? Okay, so on the bus, they say what happens in Vegas. You know, you got to call that out. Stays in Vegas. And Quad says, unless you let Dr. Heavenly know. That was a good one. And as soon as they walk into the hotel, a bar. They were so happy to see a bar. And going forward, there's like alcohol everywhere. Like every time they enter the door, here's some champagne, here's a different drink, here's more alcohol. So the girls should be good and happy. And then we have Mama Jackie. Listen, make sure you stay hydrated though, okay? Yeah, then they get to the presidential suite, and the cutest thing, like I really just love them together. And I think I really enjoyed it because they were getting along. It was like a feel good episode. But Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone running throughout this suite, and Dr. Heavenly's like, hold on, I've been bamboozled basically. Like, I thought y'all was sleeping in the same room. You didn't say it was a presidential suite or whatever. I'm sleeping here too. So they running from room to room. She ends up telling Dr. Simone, I'm sleeping here with you. Dr. Simone say, we don't even get along like that. And she's like, no, we're good. So I don't think she gonna sleep there. But it was such a feel good situation. And you have Quad and Audra like high fiving and stuff. Yeah, I can tell that they gonna like each other. And as much as I think Anila is a dingbat, I do think she may be fun to hang out with. That's why she gets along with Quad. So yeah, sounds like a good time. All right, so they had this big spread or whatever. All the girls get food. They sit down to eat, and for some reason, they want to play Never Have I Ever. So dumb. I don't think I've ever played it, but I don't want to play it. So Contessa, Dr. Contessa's like, yeah, we're transparent, but some of the girls will not be honest. And Audra's like, they won't? And like, I think I like her. I feel like she speaks up and she's going to say exactly what she wants to say and what's on her mind. And she's like, they don't. And then Dr. Contessa's like, you don't. And then she's like, huh? And she's like, oh no, I don't know you. But you know, and I'm like, Dr. Contessa be getting so mixed up. Like she's always acting. She don't even know who is in the scene with her and what she's doing because she's a liar. Y'all, I don't not here for Dr. Contessa. But I just feel like she could have kept that whole thing. Everything was going well. And everybody is just looking around like, oh, what the fuck is she talking about? Like, who is she talking about? And yeah, I just think Dr. Contessa is a killjoy. So then we get this whole thing where Taki Toya is upset that Dr. Jackie is not drinking. She don't drink. And like Audra said, and Audra's kind of loud. She's giving me Dr. Simone loudness tease. She's like, she don't drink. What are you talking about? She don't drink. And I'm like, girl, calm down. And Dr. Lord Simone, not Simone. Toya is not a doctor at all. But Toya's like, you're not a good attorney. What are you saying? Like, why people keep saying stuff to Audra like they know her, and they don't, and they're like, you don't even know her. So in the confessional, Dr. Simone is like, okay, Toya, it's not the OJ trial. Like, calm down. It's not that serious, and it's really not. Like, why are you trying to peer pressure this grown ass woman into drinking? She don't want to drink. She don't want to drink. What is wrong with you? Toya's just dumb. All right, so they end up squashing it when Toya's like, listen, I don't even know you, so we're just having fun. Because Quad is like, girl, you just assassinated her character and her work. You don't even know her. And she's like, we're just having fun. So they drop it, but Toya still is just backwards. And Dr. Jackie in the confessional is like, listen, I'm not that girl. You could drink mine and yours. How about it? Have at it. I'm not that girl. So we get back down to Never Have I Ever. I can't remember everything, and I don't want to watch it again, you guys, with the whole who did a threesome, and nobody believes Contessa that she didn't do a threesome. And I'm like, yeah, probably with another woman because, yeah, Dr. Contessa just gives me, like she like women tease. Um, Dr. Jackie has never done 69 because her husband is too long, too tall, and she's saying that it just wouldn't work out. And yeah, I mean, it was a good time because they were all getting along, so I did like it. Y'all, the never have I ever was never have I ever cheated on a boyfriend, and all the women drank. And then we have Quad in the confessional taking a shot, smooth taking a shot. and was like, listen, it was a boyfriend, not a husband. And then she's like, I'll have another drink. I'll have another. I'm like, girl, you better go ahead. All right, so let's wrap it up. We find out that Quad gets a lot of dick pics in her inbox or whatever, and she don't like it. They don't get along, and I'm gonna have to agree with that. Like unsolicited dick pic, and unsolicited selfies or whatever. Y'all, I've dated a few people that would just out of the blue send me a selfie of them, and I'll just be like, what in the actual fuck am I supposed to say to this? Like, I didn't ask for this. Okay, you look like you. Like, I don't care about selfies like that. It's ridiculous. But what's the name says? Jackie says, listen, you don't have to, everybody get your things. Let's go. And Toya, funniest thing she ever said. She's like, you putting us the fuck out? And Dr. Jackie was like, yeah, I am. So yeah, it was a very feel good episode. And again, when it was time to go off, I was like, dang, it's going off. It's over. Because I was really enjoying the fact that everybody was getting along. There was no arguing. There was no cattiness. There was no back and forth right now. Even though, y'all know we here for the shits. We really are. But it ever so often, it's fine not to have so much of that. So if you are still here, you are the real MVP. Thank you. I appreciate you. Please consider subscribing, like, comment, and we'll talk about it in the comments, you guys. Tell me what you guys think about the episode. Was it a feel good episode to you guys, or do you need a little bit more mess? All right, let's talk about it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.